I lost everything and was so close to just giving up. Then something clicked. Tattooing isn't easy, running a business isn't easy. In fact, nothing in life that's important comes without its ups and downs. I want to share this story or this journey with you so you don't make the same mistakes and end up in the same positions that I did. You can learn from someone else's mistakes and start doing the things that lead to success from the very start. And I'm going to give you the whole blueprint to what I believe got me to where I am today. Don't miss out and leave yourself short. I wish I had this information when I was starting, because it would have saved me a ton of money, but more importantly, it would have stopped me doubting myself every day, thinking that I'll never be able to make this happen. So I'm a UK sponsored artist. I run a very successful tattoo shop now. I've started teaching people how to tattoo and have gained students from literally every country imaginable. Many would look in from the outside and think, wow, he's done really well for himself, or he's been really lucky. And I'd almost agree. From the outside, that's exactly how it looks. However, from anybody that truly knows me, they'd have a completely different story to tell. As many of you already know, before I started tattooing, I was in the British military. From there, I set up a property renovation company before I finally decided to jump in with both feet and open a tattoo shop. Now, I didn't get into debt when I opened my first shop, but I kind of put all my eggs in one basket. I had money spare and I thought that I'd be comfortable. Thought that I had every angle covered. I had money to cover all bills for my home and the business for a good few months. I didn't want to put pressure on the business, so I made sure that I had a little safety net. Now, when I opened the shop, I had very little experience. I was overconfident, in fact. I was one of the people that were running without walking first. I tattooed maybe a handful of customers and thought that I had what it takes to become a great artist and run a busy shop. Let me tell you, I got shock of my life. Customers just didn't walk in the shop at all. I had this problem for months. The money that I'd put to one side had all gone. I can remember going to the shop after work for some milk and bread, and I've never been as embarrassed in my life. I got to the till, shoved my hands in my pockets, and I didn't even have enough change, so I attempted to pay by card and that got declined. I literally had to walk out of the shop and leave some bread and milk. Literally a few quid's worth of stuff, and I couldn't afford it. I had a house and a shop to run, but nothing to run it with. Now at this point I had two options: quit or find a way to make it work. Well, quitting is something that just isn't an option for me, and people that know me will be happy to tell you the exact same. I'd rather lose everything than quit. So I went back onto tools for a few days a week so I had the money to cover all bills. Then a few days a week I'd be in the shop trying to make the business work. It got to the stage that I could stop working on tools and that the tattooing was enough to cover all the outgoings and to pay me a small wage, enough to live on. This is how it was for the next few years. The business was covering itself and covering me just. Now when anybody sets up a business, this is not how they see it at all. Just covering bills and having very little to actually live on. Nobody starts a business with that in mind. The trouble I had is that with all the worrying about getting customers in the door, learning the skills to actually do the job and everything else, I'd lost sight of the actual goal. My focus had changed to making ends meet, and I was focused on getting enough money to cover all the bills and pay myself a wage, and that's exactly what I was getting. I never wanted to nip into the shop and get some milk and bread for kids and have to walk out because I didn't have money to buy it. So like I said, I was in this stage for around 3 years, just getting by, and I learned something. Now these lessons literally turned my business around within a year, and I want to share them with you so you can either follow them or know when they're at least happening to you. Now I started listening to motivational recordings and studying success. What was it that made somebody successful? Now, success leaves clues. So if you can see somebody doing what you want to do and doing a good job at it, then you can learn from that person. And I learned that all businesses are the same. Think back to when you were at school. You wanted the same as all the other kids. You wanted nice shoes, a nice coat. You didn't want to feel like the odd one out. You wanted to be part of the group. People then grow up and do the exact same thing in business. They start a business and make it the exact same as all the others. They want to fit in with all the other businesses in that industry. Doing this creates your own competition. I mean, look at every barbershop. They all look the same. They all work in the same way. None of them are doing things to stand out or make their shop better than the rest. And this is the same across almost all businesses. I learned that to run a great business, you need to look at other businesses and see what they're doing that's working, and then you need to do it and see how you can do it even better. I also learned that you can have the best product in the world, but if no one knows about it, then you may as well not even exist. It's like somebody having the cure for cancer sat in a little jar on the bedside table and not telling anybody. Then they think of all people dying that needs this cure and think to themselves, why are all these people dying when I've got the cure right here? People can't ask for things that they don't know exist. So I can't stress how important it is to market your work and yourself. Even when learning, make sure people know about it. Start to build a list of people that are wanting your skills. Show people what you can do. I was so focused on the shop and being a tattooist that I didn't put my shop out there. No one had ever heard of me. Nobody had seen me work. Nobody trusted me to put something on them for the rest of their lives. And looking back, I don't blame them. I'd not given any evidence of what I could actually do. So I applied these two things and it helped a little bit. I started to look at how I can improve my business and started marketing and getting my name out there. Business started to pick up a little bit, but the next two steps is when my business really turned around. And first step, I wrote down what I wanted to achieve within the next year, listed a load of ideas I could use to improve business, and also put together a full marketing plan for the entire year. I worked out what I needed to earn to class myself as having a rich lifestyle. You see, most people want to say, wow, I'm rich, but what do you do when you actually get there? What about it makes you happy? Well, I thought I needed to know exactly what I wanted. If I had an endless bank account, what would I want to do or have in the next year? I wrote down all my outgoings, even down to how much I could spend on fuel and food each week and each month. A budget for clothes, meals out with my partner, birthdays, Christmas, everything that I could think of. I then added it all up to give me a grand total. Now this is what I needed to earn to have a rich life and to feel successful. Rich to me is measured on happiness. So I then divided this number into months and weeks and then down to days. I worked out exactly what I needed to earn per day to get all the things that I wanted for me and my family. Let me tell you, it was a scary number compared to what I was currently earning, but nothing's impossible. So I looked at it and thought, what do I need to do to make this happen? Welcome to the next lesson that I learned, and this is what makes the difference. I always remember something that I used to listen to. Your rewards in life are an exact reflection to your contribution, your effort. And I want to say that again so you can really think about it. Your rewards in life are always an exact reflection of your contribution, your effort. Now I thought about this and it really hit home. I'm giving something that lasts a lifetime on a person. The better I get is increasing my value to that person. If I increase my efforts and my value, then in return, I should also increase my rewards. I wanted to become a better tattooist. I'd spent hour after hour watching YouTube, and it got me to the stage that I was running a shop and making ends meet. But I didn't just want that, I wanted so much more. From that day, I've never stopped learning and improving, putting hour after hour into learning everything that I can. That's when it clicked to me. I knew I needed to start thinking about how to learn properly. Think about Everything that you learn in life, absolutely everything, starts with the basics and then slowly increases. This isn't how people typically learn or even teach tattooing. I started boxing as a kid and remember my trainer saying, constantly drilling footwork into me. He drilled the basics, then developed from them. At school you learn basic maths and then learn how to build on that and solve more complex equations. I wanted to be able to have that structure and that platform to learn how to tattoo. That's what I've now created. My course, it doesn't just learn you all the methods of tattooing in order and with a complete structured program to follow. It'll help you avoid all the mistakes that I and many other tattoo artists have made. I'll teach you how to tattoo from the ground up in the correct order and at the correct pace, so you can become the artist that you want to be in the fastest time possible. I don't want anybody with the goal of becoming a tattooist to ever walk out of a shop not being able to afford something as little as a loaf of bread and a carton of milk, and feeling like they're never going to get to where they want to be. I'll also give you basics of how to advertise to get the maximum return on investment and get people queuing up for your work. Getting likes and followers is one thing, but getting paying customers that put food on the table is something completely different. And if you understand how important marketing your business is, then I'll also be releasing a full 6 months day-by-day blueprint for exactly how to use social media to drive traffic to your new business. It should be available a few weeks after the course is active. Now, if you're wanting to become a tattooist, then follow link in description and check out the first 30 lessons absolutely free. No strings, no bank details, just 100% free information. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I hope you don't make the same mistakes that I made, and I truly wish you all the best for the future. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.